Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda, and today I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about my memory disorder, SDAM, which stands for Severely Deficient Autobiographical Memory. And I also have multisensory aphantasia, and I am autistic and have ADHD. So today I'm outside at this beautiful local park. It is amazing weather today. It's August in the Pacific Northwest. The temperature is 66 degrees, and I just wanted to be outside a little bit today. But I noticed that some of my views over the weekend were all coming from some of my older videos about having SDAM, and I was like, I haven't done a video on that in a while, and so I thought I would give it a try. One thing that is interesting about having a lifelong memory disorder is that this is all I know. I have had SDAM my entire life, so I don't know what it's like to have a typical memory because this is the memory I have. So a lot of people, when they're first exploring whether or not they have SDAM, and I'll give a little summary again about what that is they wonder if their memory issues are related to maybe a traumatic childhood, or if they do have SDAM. And again, SDAM is severely deficient autobiographical memory, and you can have SDAM with having a trauma childhood, but research currently indicates that it's not because of a traumatic childhood. It's a separate brain structure. Right now, SDAM is not in any diagnostic manuals. It's still being researched. I grew up knowing my memory was different, but I didn't have any language for it until I saw studies on SDAM. So pretty much most people, unless they're being studied directly, if they say they have SDAM or aphantasia, they're self-diagnosed. They're not in any DSM or diagnostic manuals at this time. And the reason why I mentioned aphantasia is because a lot of people with SDAM also have aphantasia. Not everyone, but there is a very high co-occurrence. And it makes sense because if you can't visualize images in your mind, that I think just affects your memory. Anyway, so people who have aphantasia and don't have SDAM, I'm curious how their memories, how not being able to visualize affects their memories. I know that there are a lot of people with aphantasia that don't have SDAM though. So I'm sorry if I'm saying all of that and it sounds really confusing. I'll try to break it down for you though. So basically, autobiographical memories is your lived experience. And I have semantic memory, which is knowledge. So I have knowledge about some of the things that happened to me, but I cannot remember the actual lived experience. I think that's Milo behind me. My kids are at the park too today. So there's my son Ira. Anyway, so lived experience. So I can remember the details, maybe a list of facts about something that may have happened, but I'm not going to remember the lived experience. And I know that some people, when they talk about a memory, it's like they're reliving it. In their brain, they can put themselves back into that time. They potentially might be able to smell certain smells that might have been there, or hear different sounds that might have been around them. None of that is included in my memories. No, and I don't know if it's because I do have multisensory aphantasia, but even when I'm remembering facts, unless it is pertinent to the memory, like the memory was because of a certain smell, I'm not going to have that included in my retelling of the facts about it. So for instance, I like to talk about vacations a lot because that's a thing that people fondly will want to remember, right? When you spend a lot of money on going on a vacation, you want to remember the experience. Well, I don't remember the experiences of when I go on vacation. And the last couple of vacations, since knowing I have SDAM, and so having like this cognitive knowledge that while I'm here on the vacation, I'm not going to remember it later, that is really weird, but it's true. So like, it's August now. I went to Hawaii in December. I know I went to Hawaii in December. I know I stayed at a resort. I was like, I'm trying to remember, like, I don't think we actually even swam in the ocean, because the resort that we were staying on was on a really rocky beach. So I did wade a little bit into the ocean. So again, this is me trying to remember my experience of my vacation. And so a lot of people, like if there were, hi Milo, if they were trying to remember what their beach experience might have been like, they, just from talking to people, I know that in their memory they can probably recall like what it smelled like, the sounds of the ocean. They might, remember the seagulls flying by, all these little details. But if I think about going back in my brain in December, going to Hawaii, all I have is a list of facts, and like even trying to remember what I did on the vacation is spotty. Like a lot of times when I'm trying to rely on my memory, I use logic. So if you think about a vacation in Hawaii, you would think about, oh yeah, I probably went swimming in the ocean. But actually, I'm pretty sure we didn't, because again, using logic, the beach that we were staying at was extremely rocky, and we didn't we didn't rent a car. We stayed at the resort the entire week because our goal for that vacation was to just lounge around on the beach. Like we didn't want a big adventure vacation. We wanted like a really chill vacation. And so our goal was to stay at the beach. We thought there would be ocean access, and there was again, but it was very rocky. So I feel like we wait, and I use the words I feel like a lot of times when I'm talking about a memory because I can't remember for sure. So that's my way of like, I don't know 100%, but I feel like we just waded in the water and we like were looking at the tide pools. There was a man-made swimming hole sort of thing that we went in once. When I was looking at the brochures, I thought I would be swimming in that thing a lot, but it was so crowded that I really didn't go in it as much as I thought I would. But again, when I'm thinking about my trip to Hawaii, think about it like most people, if they were thinking about a memory, maybe, and I'm just guessing from what I've been told, this isn't my experience, but it's almost like they might be watching a movie of themselves in the memory, or some people can't see moving pictures in their mind, but it's like they're flipping through like pages of a photo book of like their experience of like what they did on their vacation. For me, it's like reading an outline at best. Like there's no imagery, there's no senses, and it's just like there's no actual lines of text. Like I don't visualize text in my mind either, but it would be like reading off, we did this, we did that, we did that. And then the further out the vacation goes, the more that file degrades. And so there's going to be less even semantic knowledge that I remember about the trip. So like in 10 years, I might remember, oh yeah, I went to Hawaii in December. But at that point, it'll probably be even tricky of like what year I went to Hawaii in. I, again, would have to use a lot of logic to figure out possibly what year it might have been. Like, oh, that was the year my kids were finished their first year of high school or something. Which I know other people will do that with their memory. Like they use timelines to maybe help them fit it in. But for me, when something happened, it really will go away from my memory. And I think a lot of that has to do with being ADHD, time blind too, but also having this memory disorder, because ADHD also affects your short-term memory. So that's a whole nother type of memory loss that I have. So my memory is not one that people can really count on. It's also, a lot of times you hear the stereotype that autistic people prefer telling you the truth. And that is really true for me, because I can't remember lies. So I definitely stay away from lying. Now, it doesn't mean that my views on something won't change over time. So, I might have said something years past and it was the truth for me then. And just like most people who grow and change, my truth may have changed, but at that time it was something that felt true to me. So someone asked me, how do I catalog my memories? Like, how do I keep track of important events? And I wish I had found a better answer by now. I think because, again, having ADHD, my autistic side would love to have a super organized thing or system, but my ADHD side is just chaos as far as trying to keep anything organized. When my kids were born, I started a blog, and I am so thankful that became a ADHD hyper focus, because I blogged their first several years of life, and almost every day I'd write down a little paragraph, and I would take a couple pictures and upload it to the blog. It's all private right now. I don't want it for public consumption, but it's a great memory tool for me, for me to go back, because I do not remember my children's childhood at all, other than the photos and these little snippets of text that I wrote about what we did that day. And for most people, if they would read that snippet, it would bring back a memory. For me, it doesn't. Now, and the other person asked, do family stories stay in my memory? And yes. So the more times a tale that gets told in the story in your family over and over and over, the more times something is said over and over and over, I will remember it. And I call them kind of false memories, because I'm not actually remembering it. I'm just remembering the story. I hope that landscaping is not overtaking the sound of my video. Anyway, for instance, I know there was this funny story when my kids, the first time we went and bought shoes for them, and there was this silly little story. I don't remember the experience of going to the store and buying shoes with my kids that day, but I can tell the story, and it's my way of having a memory that I can share with them about when they were little. I don't remember it, but I do remember the story being told over and over and over, because it was just a funny thing that happened. So yeah, the blog definitely helped. I wish I had kept that going, because that actually was a really kind of good way to encapsulate things that happened, and it was searchable pretty well. It's not perfect, but it was searchable, because several years ago I started doing bullet journaling, and I loved getting into bullet journaling. The problem is it wasn't searchable. So if you're familiar with bullet journaling at all, there is a whole index system, but I wasn't super great at indexing things, because a lot of times I don't know what's going to be important. I don't know all the time what I need to go look back at. For instance, I was talking to my sister this morning, and we were talking about medical records and keeping medical records. And the last time I was at the dentist with my kids, the dentist asked, when did your children lose their last baby tooth, or something like that, or something about their baby teeth. I don't remember the exact question. And I was like, I don't know. I don't remember. Do most people remember that? I have no idea. I wouldn't have noted that as something big in a journal for me to go back and search through. So if it'd been in a blog, oh, so-and-so lost their last tooth, and I typed in baby tooth, I could search the results up. So bullet journaling, I kind of stopped when I realized that it was really hard for me to go back and find information in my bullet journal, because it wasn't searchable in that way, because it was, a manual document, not a digital one. And I've gotten pretty good at using my Google Calendar and putting in notes and details because, again, that's searchable. But for instance, I'm having the ADHD. I'm not consistent enough with labels. So I was trying to look up when my son got his last haircut, because we try to do it like every 6 weeks or something. And I'm like typing in Ira hair, and nothing's coming up, because the last time he got his haircut, I typed in the name of the salon and I didn't put the word hair in there. And it's like, oh my God, can I please be consistent? But I can't remember what codes or, like how I label stuff. So I'm never consistent with it. And so that's, again, another frustrating part of having a memory disorder, is not being able to be consistent in how I label things. That is something that's happened to me over and over and over in my life, and it's extremely frustrating. But the thing is, like I circled back to, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is how I grew up. I have adapted. Most people would have no idea that I live with a pretty severe memory disorder. Like, when you think about it, not having autobiographical memories of your life is a pretty big deal. Like, I literally don't remember the experience of my life. I just remember vague facts. But that's the power of the human brain. Like, I have adapted. I've adapted so well that in most conversations, nobody would really know this about me. Sometimes it does come up because I will be talking to a friend and we might be talking about something in the past, or they'll be really upset that I forgot to ask them how their, really big doctor's appointment went, or, maybe the last time we got together, they told me that their cat died or something, and I won't necessarily remember that. If I did remember, of course I would ask them about it. Like, oh my gosh, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But it's not that I don't care. It's that the information does just not get stored into my brain the same way. And so I've had a lot of friends in the past think that I don't care about them. And it's not that at all. It's literally my brain. I'm not choosing what to remember and what not to remember, because, oh my gosh, if I could do that, that would help a lot. Because sometimes I'll remember the stupidest little fact about something that's like so inconsequential, but then I won't remember that your cat died. Like, that's not fair, brain. Like, work with me here. It's like, ugh. So anyway, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. The thing that's also, I love talking about this, and I know that people who are looking to see if they have SDAM, they want to hear these shared experiences to see if their experience matches my experience. That's what I did when I first found out about SDAM. I read every single article I could on it, listen to, there wasn't many videos when I first found out about it a couple of years ago at all, but I consumed every single content, and every single time I'm like, that matches my experience. Because there are a lot of reasons why people might have memory loss, and you have to really dig deep to see if that's what matches your experience. And again, this isn't medically diagnosed, so maybe someday something else will come up that will explain my memory loss more than SDAM. But right now, I feel very confident in saying that it's SDAM, because my experience aligns so much with the stories of everybody else who talks about memory loss in this same way. And like I said, it's ongoing, it's lifelong. It's not, oh, I just don't remember a chunk of my childhood. I don't remember 6 months ago. I don't remember 3 months ago. So it's like ongoing memory loss. And what else was I going to say about that? I guess that's it. If you have any questions, ask me, because I would like to make more videos, but it's sometimes I'm adapted. I'm so used to it that I don't even know how to talk about it. Like what would be interesting to hear about it from somebody who has a typical memory, if that makes sense. And the same thing with aphantasia. And don't forget, I do have playlists on both of these, aphantasia and SDAM. A lot of them do overlap because for me, they're all in my one brain, and they do affect each other. Until the next time, bye guys.